Hi folks, I'm going to have a look in a minute on Gumtree to see if I can find a legal aid lawyer who will take on civil cases, and I'm going to contact that person probably next week with regards to the SSPCA, especially Alison Simpson, the one who brought the transfer of ownership paper around, and also the one who was responsible for all this situation really. Well, because I'm going to have to get back some paperwork that I did pass to my solicitor. I'm going to have to get back compensation costs paperwork, because in there it shows that they carried out treatment on my dogs while they were still my dogs, but they didn't get my consent for that, and so that would be something that would be brought up against them in civil court, because as far as I know that's illegal for them to do that. But they also, as I say, they've charged me for Molly's Nutrient, but they were the ones who pushed me to allow them to do that. And I said to them, okay, they have to take full responsibility for it. That also means the cost. That's within full. The description of full responsibility means cost as well. So therefore they take the cost upon them. So I'm going to be mentioning all of this to a lawyer. Well, as I say, if God is not going to fight my battles, then I have to. I've not been that concerned me about fighting even this case, because clearly I was trusting God for it, and now God has shown me quite clearly that he's not, well, now it's possible that God has shown me quite clearly that he's not going to be getting involved in it, then yeah. Yeah, maybe that's the point now. Maybe I've got to go and see the social worker, so I think I've got to speak up more on the fact of not guilty. I've got to really push that point of not guilty. I've got to push the point of how my solicitors were telling me that you cannot trust the system, you cannot trust the sheriffs, and yeah, put that as a point of yeah, I'm going to be doing a press thing probably and mentioning all of that in there, and I will tell the social worker. So if she then basically writes that down, then the judge is going to ask me about that on when I go there early May, and that'll be me fighting, because I've had enough of putting up my crap now. I've had to put up with it. I've had to put up with Mr. Tom lying in court. And basically, his replacement saying that, no, don't worry, that stuff won't hurt you. It has. It will, if it's left. With the crap that he's saying. Well, as I say, Mr. Tom's point was that I've been guilty, that I'm, in his eyes I'm guilty, so therefore when I said to the social worker, in the social worker's report it says that I said that I was lucky that there wasn't any suffering, he changed that to I said that I was lucky that there's no damage, because he took the word suffering completely out of it, because he couldn't really say that I said there was no suffering to the sheriff, because the case is about causing suffering. So he had to make that point of suffering into that there was no damage, because he's saying that there was suffering. Blithering bloody idiot. Yeah. And that's the point. I've got to raise all of that to the social worker and just say this system is incredibly corrupt. It's incredibly stupid and useless, this whole system. Although, look, the reality is, what am I going to be saying at that point in time? Because I imagine it would be April, late April-ish, well, middle April, that I'll have the social worker meeting with them. And if that's the case, then where I'm going to be at that point in time, I don't know. Yeah, am I still going to be thinking that God is not going to be fighting my battles? Well, as I say, he hasn't, has he? That's the point. I mean, the reason why I said when I gave James, my son, to God, he didn't fight that battle. He didn't fight the battle with James's mum, so that James would be able to have a relationship with his dad, and I'd be able to see my son. You know, I was rejected by my dad, but now my son thinks that I did the same to him because of God. Yeah. I didn't reject James in any way, shape or form. I didn't walk away from him. There was nothing I could do. That's why I gave him to God, and then God basically said, well, I'm going to do nothing as well. There's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that I'm going to do. Yeah? So, yeah. And with the dogs, the same. God hasn't fought for me. I spent a long time speaking to God about the fact of what I'm trusting him to do or what I believe he's going to do. And he then says, I ain't doing anything. Well, up to now, isn't that exactly what he's been saying? By the actions, by what's happened. So therefore, okay, if that continues to be the case around April, well then I've got to fight, haven't I? Yeah? Well, somebody's got to fight for me, so come on. Am I supposed to just be someone who lets people, abuse him and, take his family away and, steal things from him all the time? And I'm just trusting God to do something, and God's going to say, no, I'm not going to do anything. I just keep on letting it happen. That means I'm a complete bloody idiot. An absolute idiot. If I'm allowing that. Talk about being a fool for God. As I say, this, yeah. But that really would be being a complete fool for God, wouldn't it? Really? So I'm going to trust God while God is giving you every reason not to. Yeah, look, I can only give my understanding as it is now. As I'm projecting, saying, this is what I think may be the case. If I'm still thinking as I am now, then. Part of the problem I have is I'm a logical person. That's why I've said in the last few videos recently, about the logics. The logic of this is messy and logical. Thinking, because I'm a logical person. In this situation, I want to understand what happened, why it's happened, etc., etc. But I can't. Unless God is telling me. And that's a big problem because I'm a logical person. And all this point about he can see the big picture, that's wonderful, great. In situations like this, it is a case where you just say, okay, that's wonderful, great. Good for you, Father, but absolutely crap for me because I can't see that. And when I'm trusting you to do something, you're doing nothing. You're letting all this crap come at me and hit me and hurt me and hit me and hurt me. And, yeah. I mean, I said going back that when you are a son and you're walking heaven down, you don't need to fear anything. Because, unless God wants anything to hurt you, God seems to want everything to hurt me. Everything. So it's like, oh, that's helpful. I'm just supposed to walk this out knowing that everything I come across is going to hurt me. That's the thing. It's very difficult to walk because you want to hide, don't you? When that's the case, when you know that everything that comes at you is going to hurt you because God is not protecting you. Shield of faith? Come on, I've got more than faith. I've got knowledge and understanding of God, of Father, and about going through Yeshua, and about relationship with God. So I've actually got knowledge, which is beyond faith. Has that protected me? Has that helped me? No. So all this point about shield of faith, nah. No, that wouldn't help in any way, shape or form. Because there's been nothing I could do about this. And I don't understand why. That's really frustrating. To say the least, it is incredibly frustrating. Especially, as I said earlier, when what I'm hearing is, you don't need another dog because your dogs are coming back. What on earth? Yeah, after I finished the other video, I said to Father, look, please, I need to move on. I need to let them go now. They're gone. Yeah, I need to let go now. And I need to start moving forward. I can't move forward all the while you're still allowing me to think that you're saying that they're still coming back. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, I can imagine this could drag on. That God is telling me they're still coming back for the next 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 bloody years. I imagine the Lord will be back before they come back. They'll be dead before they come back. Or basically dead. To the point where they're absolutely knackered. And the point where they're going to die. That's when they're going to come back, is it? But certainly it's going to be stretched out, I guess. Well, as I said in the last one, okay, it could happen where they don't settle where they are and they have to be taken back to the kennels. Yeah, that could happen. Yeah. Certainly, it would be horrendous for them to be in wherever they are now, whatever homes they're in now, for about a year, and then the people don't want them. So now they bonded with someone else and they lose them as well. Yeah. I said to God, look, Father, they need to be in their forever homes now. Simple as that. For their sake, they need to be in that. No one mucking around for them. I mean, certainly Mickey, he's been rehomed a number of times now. Gracie's been through it. Lucy's been rehomed twice now. This is now a third home. Yeah, that's not right. Same as Lockie. Lockie went to a home, come back here, and now has gone to another home. That's not right. And then to do that again? No. That's not right on them in any way, shape or form. I need to move on. They need to just be in their forever homes now, for goodness sake. They've been through enough. No, so I mean, to me, that's the thing. Taking their dogs away from me, I understand the SSPCA doing that. If they truly felt that there was harm done, or that was a bad thing, so therefore they should do that, okay. But, understanding that the judge has basically said that she will not be banning me from having dogs, therefore I can have dogs, wouldn't it have been better for them to come back? Because at least they would stay together. Or if you can have a deal where you can rehome a few of the younger ones and actually keep them together, then rehome them, but the rest come back to me. That way you're actually thinking about them. What I can't forgive the SSPCA is that they weren't thinking about the dogs. They weren't thinking about what's best for them. That is something that, I can't let that go because that's not right. And so if I chose to actually fight them on that, that would be the basis of me fighting them. And I want to destroy them for that reason. Because they're supposed to be protecting animals from cruelty. Separating them from their human, when it's not completely necessary because there wasn't any suffering. As I say, separating them from the human for a time as a warning to the human that if this ever happens again, you will lose them completely. Yeah, got that. I understand that. But on a permanent basis, yeah. But then separating them from each other, yeah. Sorry, no. That's not okay in any way, shape or form. Not for me, no. That's not showing care and concern for the animals in any way, shape or form. You should be trying to do what's best for them, and they didn't do that. And so for me, I'd quite happily destroy them as a result of that. Yeah. Because to me, put it this way, if the animals went through any suffering at all because of being away from me, or being away from each other, or now from being away from each other, then, yeah, they've done that. That wasn't me, that was them. Of course, they will say it was me. That's because of what I did. They didn't have a choice. You always have a choice, that's the point. There's always a choice. You choose the path you go down because you choose it as the safest one for you, the one that's going to still keep bringing in the most donations. That's all you care about. That's what you care about the most as that sort of organisation, same as the RSPCA. It's donations that matter more than anything. So if a few dogs have to suffer, it doesn't matter. It does to the people who care for them, which isn't the people in the SSPCA. Anyway, there you go. You take care. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.